All right, good evening. Call the zoning board meeting to order. Start with the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Oh, a few housekeeping matters. Emergency exits are off to the side, out in the back through the lobby. Restrooms are in the lobby as well. Done so, please sign the attendance sheet at the back of the room. You'll also find back there proposed resolutions. There are business cards at the back table. You're welcome to take them. Also, if you would, please silence your cell phones. And if you need to have a conversation that does not relate to the present application, please take that out in the hall. Also, when we are making, for each application, the applicant will certainly have an opportunity to say what they need to say. Then there'll be some questions from the board. If there's any exhibits that you have not submitted, we'll certainly take a look at them. Just let us know that they are new. When you are talking about a specific exhibit, do your very best to use descriptive words as opposed to, well, if you see over here and you see over there, that doesn't translate well on the minutes themselves. So if you can use compass directions or structures, just do the best you can with that. Also, we're going to do our very best not to talk over you, and if you would do the same for us, again, creates a good record for us, a much cleaner transcript. With that, the next thing I'd like to do is approval of the May 15th, 2023 minutes. Unless there's some discussion about it.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. Next is the Keystone Custom Decks.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So yeah, we're seeking a variance to the 10-foot setback rule, and we want to end up being 8 feet from the property line. It's a porch roof over a patio, so it would be the porch that would end up being a little bit too close. And you can see on the survey there, it's not even the whole side of it or anything. It's just the easternmost corner there that ends up being over the property line. And a few other reasons that we wanted to stay with this size is, which I can show you on a 2D as well, but the column, on the northmost column will be about 4 feet from the corner of the house, allowing space to walk through there and also visibility to the pool. It also allows the space to kind of come out from the corner of the house so that you're not tucked in away from the pool, so that the parents can still continue to watch the pool and not be tucked back into the corner too much. We also looked at putting it on the other side of that bump out in the house. And one of the main reasons is there's, like the pool pump, there's kind of the utilities over in that area. And it also would be really close to the edge of the pool there as well, on the left side, straight out from the corner of the house if we were to try to put it on the other side. So that's just a few reasons why we're trying to put it in that corner. And so yes, it is self-inflicted or whatever the term is for that, but that's kind of a few of the reasons for wanting to place it there. So,
Hey, Alexis, questions?
No questions.
Leah?
What is the height of this,
the porch roof.
of the porch?
So the beams usually are at about 7'4". Mm-hmm. So then the roof would be, the peak of the roof would be about 2 to 3 feet above that. Mm-hmm. I don't think it would be above 12 feet.
And I saw that, that it's going to have recessed lighting in there.
Mhm.
And is that all that's going to be part of it?
Mhm.
Okay. And from the picture, it showed there's a door, I guess that's a door going into the garage?
Yes, that's correct.
And you're not adding any other door or window
No,
or anything?
no.
No. And that photo there, you have a TV, I mean, is that just for aesthetics or?
No,
is
it's all for outdoor living. There'll be a kitchen area there, there's the TV, just kind of creating an outdoor living space.
Okay. And are the trees, on the drawing, are the trees currently there?
They're correct,
They're there,
yes.
okay.
Mhm. The fence is there as well.
Yes, yes. Okay, those are all the questions I had, thank you.
Fred?
I think you're going to get pretty good at asking for variances.
I'm learning.
This time before.
Well, I looked at this, the same drawing, and I said, God, a 20 by 22 foot porch is really, in a tight corner, really pushing it. So I drove over there, and it looks even tighter when I look at it in real life. The other house is right there. If you were to cut the porch back to 17 feet, 17 by 22 is still a big porch, gee. Then you wouldn't need the variance.
Mhm.
And that's what I think I'm gonna go with.
Okay.
It's really a big porch in a confined space. And the code really fits this.
Okay.
Oh, it really dictates what is good to me.
Mhm.
So I think it's too close.
Okay.
Matt?
I'm thinking along the same lines of Fred, although I haven't been out there, but if you had to adhere to the 10 feet, and take those 2 feet back, what would you lose? Obviously, the 2 linear feet, but would you really lose much in terms of their ability to enjoy it or utilize the backyard?
Not completely, no. One of the things, we have discussed a few options. One of the things is, I'm not sure if it's the corner of the roof or the posts that matter for that measurement or that setback rule.
It's the farthest out, so if the roof sticks out farther, it's the farthest thing
Okay.
that sticks out. I'll look at code enforcement to keep me honest, but.
So I guess that kind of takes away from one of the options we were talking about, is that we could keep the post back and just do a bigger cantilever on the gable end, which you would still have the same roof coverage area, but then the post, like the part that would be, the structure part that would be coming to the ground would be 10 feet away from the property line, but I wasn't sure what the code was on that,
We
so.
measure to the roof.
Mhm.
It
Okay.
overhangs.
And so then, yeah, the main thing, I guess, with that is just so that it doesn't crowd the, so if we take everything back in, so that, I don't know if you were able to see, there's also a kitchen on the outer edge of the patio. So if we go back 2 feet, that post ends up being 2 foot from the corner of the house, and with it being a column it's a stone column at the base, that offers very little use to go back in there, and then also your post would be about 3 feet from the kitchen, so it just becomes really crammed in that space, I guess, which is one of the bigger reasons we're asking for that, as well as also allowing the space to be out towards the pool a little bit more, just so that you're not,
If you move it in, doesn't it make more room for the kitchen area, because it's moving the posts away from? I'm looking at, yes, that exact picture there, so if.
yeah, I guess that would be one thing. I was just kind of thinking that everything would shift back in, but I guess that would be an option. The kitchen would just be further from the porch area.
What if you were to, I think you're all thinking of reducing the 20-foot dimension back towards the house? And you said you wanted that 4 feet there for observation, but what if you reduced the 22-foot dimension? So
You came in from the
how far
corner.
would you really have to move it to, because the way it's angled, you wouldn't have to go back that far, I feel like, to pick up your 2 feet.
Then, yeah.
So maybe 20 by 20 instead of 20 by 22, and you may,
And I guess probably the best way to figure out that would be to get a survey done and see where, like how far we can come off the house.
Now the fence goes right over to the neighbor's fence, doesn't it? It was kind of confusing to look at. I thought it did.
As to whose fence was, or to where it was, which property it was on.
Is it fence on fence in the backyard there, or?
Yeah.
Bernie Budimir, I'm the owner of the house. Yeah, there's two fences behind the trees.
Okay.
There's a chain link fence and then another fence that the other property has. So it's like back-to-back fence.
Okay.
So just to add to what he said, I mean, our main reason is to maximize space and try to have a better view of the pool from the house. And if it makes any difference, we did talk to the owners behind us, and they have no issue with it.
Is the roof, I guess roof on the patio, is it gonna be taller than the garage?
No.
So it's gonna, so the garage will still,
Yeah,
you won't be
you-
able to see it from the front?
Right. You could maybe see it from Duck Hollow, because it's a corner lot, and so
Yeah.
so you would maybe be able to see it from that, but yes, from, when you come in the driveway, you wouldn't be able to see it.
Okay.
Matt, are you,
I'm good. I'm good for now.
okay, so I'm trying to understand the argument that by reducing the space to comply with the code, you're going to lose, I guess, visual of the pool, or am I not understanding that piece right?
Essentially, yes, because it's taking the whole living space back into the corner more versus getting out parallel with the pool.
But by reducing it and bringing that, the A-frame back towards would be the southwest, just for the sake of argument, it's reduced by 3 feet. It would, looks like to me with your, I know your drawings may not be to scale, but almost in line with whatever that room is, if it's the house itself, you're going to get more visual observation, or you'll be able to see the pool better because that post isn't going to be in the way. I understand the coverage, you know, you want more coverage. Everybody wants coverage. They want to use their spaces absolutely as much as possible. But one of the criteria that we look at is, can you accomplish your goal and comply with the code? Is there a way to do it? And we're just exploring. When I say you can't have it, it's just, it's ideas on
Right.
what is it that you would lose or gain. Part of it's aesthetics, part of it's coverage, and I think to Fred's point, it's well taken, is you still have quite a bit of coverage. It would be, what, 20 by 17, or whatever that dimension is.
Well, also, if you made the patio line parallel with the side yard, and bring the porch with it, you'd pick up, I don't know how much, it looks like it might be a couple feet, because the line of the patio isn't parallel. So would you put that survey map back up? Yeah. At the top of the patio, it looks like it's further from the back line than the bottom of it. So if you left the top, the triangle, and you had the upper angle at 8 feet, you'd be making the most of the view of the pool.
I'm not sure if I'm
I'm
following.
not
the-
sure I'm saying it very good.
I think he's saying the roof structure would be not perpendicular to the house, it would follow the property line.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
that seemed easy enough.
Yeah, I'm,
Get some of it back.
it would be a little interesting making an off-square porch, but it's an option.
The other thought that I have, Fred, are you done with your thoughts over there? You jump into mine.
What?
I didn't want to cut you off if you were,
Oh, no, I'm
okay.
out of ammo here anyway.
So if I'm looking again at this right, the house faces west. Usually you're in the backyard in the evening, midday to evening. If that porch is, even if it's 2-3 feet less, you're still going to, that porch is, covered porch, still going to give you sun protection. I can't see how you're going to lose much. When you say the kitchen area, it's, from your drawings, and it already looks like it's not covered anyway.
Kitchen's not covered, no.
All right, so again, think about it, because this has to go to the county planning board for their review. We're just throwing some ideas out there, things to think about, so when you come back, Amber, when are they going to hear this?
So county planning board is June 14th, so then our meeting following that would be June 19th.
Okay. So we're definitely going to see you next time. I think we have a good handful of thoughts and questions. Anyone from the public want to speak for or against the application? Shed, your neighbors are okay with it? Is there anything in writing?
I didn't go there, but I could, yeah.
Okay, so that helps us, because part of it is, how does the neighborhood feel about it? Just because your neighborhood, they all say, oh, yeah, sure, it's all great, doesn't mean you're going to get it, but it also helps if they say, oh, no, I don't want to see it, and puts reasons behind it. So anything in writing, if it's an email or a note on a piece of paper, bring it back, send it to us, we'll certainly take a look at it.
Okay,
And if there's two owners on the house, like husband, wife, from both. 'cause
okay.
I know my husband signs off on things without telling me.
So don't do that, yeah.
And then, so Susie, can you go back to the, rendering? I just got a quick one. One more. Yeah. So are you saying if you had to go 2 feet in, would it be flush with the, windows there?
No, right now, the closest edge of the post is almost 6 feet from the house.
Okay,
So it will be, just bring it closer, tighter to the house.
okay.
You won't be able to walk in between there anymore.
Oh, okay.
Really, 3 feet? Door openings are 3 feet.
Well,
No,
it would be
you also
4
have-
feet to the outside of the post, so it would be what,
The column is 16, 18 inches.
it'd be
so
2'6".
Yeah.
You'd have to push everybody back, and then you're saying with the viewpoint, you'd be further back.
Yeah, that was,
Is that a sun, I don't know what to describe it, sunroom with the windows there or something?
It's a sunroom, yes.
Okay, so then the sunroom would limit your ability to see through the pool. I presume, you can't see the whole pool rendering here, but it goes further, it's like on a diagonal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you couldn't see your kids if they were further back in the pool. Is that the deep end?
That is the deep end too.
That's not in the picture.
Right.
This is like the shallow end towards the house? Okay, that's what I figured.
When you make these renderings, is that in-house, or do you have to send
it's
out?
in-house, yeah.
I'd be curious to see what this would look like, this one here, I
With-
doing
with-
exactly what I said not to do. The overhead, rendering overhead, if, to comply with the code, what would that frame look like, your proposed structure?
You're saying for the opening from the porch area out to the pool? Like what that'll look like?
Right, so I'm looking at the overhead rendering that you have, and I think I'm not alone, but if we have a look at, to comply with the code, what would that roof line look like? And what kind of, we're gonna see better on obstructions and what that's going to limit as far as usage, aesthetics, things like that.
Yeah, I could have another one made up, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Okay.
Anyone else? Any other questions? All right, a little bit of homework. You have questions for us?
The only question I kind of had was what it looks like when it goes to the county, what that process is. I was told I don't need to be there, just kind of what happens.
You certainly can be there.
Right.
Uh,
I mean, I don't necessarily want to be there if I don't have to be. I was just kind of wondering what that is about.
I don't want to mislead you and tell you you should or shouldn't be there. Right? That's certainly up to you.
Yeah.
The county is going to look at this and have more of a global look on
Okay.
what kind of impact is it going to have on the county and other municipalities. My best guess is the reason why it got triggered, referred to the county, is usually its proximity to a state highway, a municipality, the thruway. So if they look at it and say, well, gee, just take for example, if it is the thruway, I guess
It's a throughway, yeah.
you know, what difference does it make, the thruway, it's being that close, as opposed to if it borders, let's say, Farmington, and Farmington may have something to say about it. Do you want to try to drive at here?
Yeah. So if they're all good with that, does that like help the case, or does that?
No, it's a good question. So the county is an advisory board.
Okay.
So what they'll do is they'll put their comments, and depending on how they classify it, they may say, we recommend a denial, and give us reasons. At that point, the law requires us that if we want to grant the variance, we would need a majority plus one. So being a 4 to 5, that's 4, right? But if they say, hey, no comments, do whatever you want, we're free to grant or deny it with a simple majority, or deny it with a simple majority. All right, make sense? Questions?
I'm all set.
Okay, great.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Yep. Okay, next. Armand. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yes.
Armand,
Bless you,
okay,
Armand.
my
Good evening.
apologies.
I'm the owner of the property. So we're seeking an area variance for the shed location. My husband and I, we constructed the shed ourselves, and we placed it as close to the house as possible and at the same level as the garage. We were not aware, we didn't know that there were actually 2 lines of, property lines rather, because of the corner lot. I still don't, I'm not really sure exactly where the other line is, but, so, yeah, this is how it looks like, this is where we placed it.
Maybe I can help you with that a little bit.
Yes.
So if we're looking at the aerial, on a regular lot, let's call it, not a corner lot. So the code says that you look at the front of the house, and that's usually where the driveway is. That's the front setback requirements, then you have the rear, backyard, and then your sides
Okay.
setbacks to your neighbor's property. But the code, the way it's written is, because you're on a corner lot, they're counting the front setback according to each street.
Okay,
You have to comply with the front setbacks both ways. And your shed is on the side of Louise Way. So even though most people would look at it and say, well, gee, the front of your house is where the driveway is, and it goes to
Right.
Erica Trail.
yeah,
Well, that doesn't make it, that's how the code's written for now, and that's what we have to work with.
okay,
So that's why the requirement for the need for a variance is in front of us.
I see.
To make a little more sense?
Yes, I mean, it's hard to visualize, though, if you were to move it, like, where would it be? Would you just push it back the way it is, or?
It'd have
So-
to be in the
so-
backyard.
Yeah, right. So there's the quandary. Pushing it back parallel to Louise Way isn't going to do you any good, because you
No.
still have the problem of
Okay,
need to follow the front setback, even though it looks like it's your side yard.
okay,
I know, it's a puzzle look, everybody has that with this type of situation.
yeah.
To comply with the code, you'd have to put the shed in the backyard. So, almost in
Back
the,
of the house.
pardon me?
In the back of the house, you mean?
Right. That's if you comply with the code, just
Yeah. Which is
granting a
like a
variance.
hill, downhill.
Okay. So, why don't
It's
you
not
tell us,
leveled.
yeah, tell us more about that. What does the backyard look like?
So, there is a patio, and then there is a, it's just, it goes downhill. It's not, it's not leveled. And then the other side of the house is gonna be too close to the neighbor. So there's no room for the shed there on the other side. I mean, like between the two, the two houses. I mean, we spoke to all the neighbors and nobody had, nobody has any, issues with the shed, but of course, I understand that it's against the code.
We'll ask some questions, and then
Sure.
give you a chance. Matt, got some questions?
Sure, so if you, it looks like the backyard obviously has the slope in the
It
survey
does.
you provided.
Very,
It's like it drops
very.
5 feet,
Yep, yep.
kind of from start to finish on that. It's a tough one. The shed itself is rather large. I know I can't really do too much about it now. I'm in a,
Yeah. I mean, like, we had nowhere, like, my husband's tractor, the snow blower, like, there's nowhere to put all those, large equipment. I mean, the garage is just so small, there's no room for anything. So that was the main reason we got it, because we had nowhere to, store all that equipment.
on the survey, you see where the number 35 is circled?
Yes.
Could it go there? Like basically butting up against the rear of the house, or it looks like is that a gas fireplace? Exhaust that's shown?
Maybe the fireplace from the, yes, yeah.
You got a patio back there now.
I'm looking right here. Gas fireplace, looks like the exit. I was thinking if they put it back here somewhere.
I think they have a patio that takes up the majority of
It
the
takes
back.
up that where 35 is as well.
You'd have to put it, well, I guess you'd put it right behind.
The back of the patio is essentially like a.
That's where
Yeah.
the slope
You-
starts.
I kind of look at it as, to me, it seems like where you put it is probably the best, most logical place to put it now. If you have one at all, right? I think, to me, the answer is, does the site allow you to have a shed of that size or not, right? Just because there aren't other places to put it, I do think it's a relatively unique situation. It's the corner lot, you've got two front setbacks, you've got a slope in the backyard, you're 13 feet away from your neighbor on the other side, so, you've got a unique situation here. I want to hear what the other board members have to say about that.
Alexis, questions?
Does this have to go to the county because of how close it is?
No, this one wasn't in the blue.
I don't have any questions.
Leah?
Do you know currently the outer edge of the shed, what distance that is from the street on Louise Way?
Oh, it's quite a distance. It's quite a distance. It's stuck, we put it very close to the house, so
Right.
it's a pretty large yard. So yeah, there's plenty of room.
Do you know even what the distance is from your house to the edge of the street on Louise Way?
It's on the survey, it's
Yeah, I'm not
36.9
sure.
feet.
36, okay.
Right.
That's not to the street, though, that's to
That's to
the
the right of way.
To the
right of way. Then
It's
you
just
probably got
right.
another 10 to go before you get to the street, looking at the drawing.
Yes.
We're about 45 feet away.
Yes.
And what is the width of the shed, the front, you
It's
know?
11 by 18. I believe it's those lifetime sheds, standard. Either 10 or 11 by 18.
No, I'm just also wondering if, you know, if one way to resolve this is to maybe put, you know, something like a fence, fence it in a little bit the way people fence in the pool, you know, at least from the side.
Yeah,
You know,
but it's-
I'm just, you know, I'm
it's-
just bringing that up.
We're very tight with financially right now, so it's not going to be very doable for us.
No more questions at this time.
Fred, questions?
To me, the shed looks wider in these pictures than it looked like in real life. Taken quite a bit of their yard away with these setbacks. I'm kind of agreeing with Matt. It's not a bad-looking structure. Have there been any complaints from the neighbors at all on this? Adam, are you aware of any?
No, just the anonymous complaint that sparked the,
What's that?
so the shed was unpermitted, and then we received an anonymous complaint about the shed
Oh.
period, which kind of sparked this whole,
Um, There isn't much of any place to go with it. It is set back from Erica Trail a little bit, from that front. So I'm kind of leaning towards approving this.
Good for now?
Yep.
All right. So it's 11 feet wide, correct?
11 feet, but yes, I believe so,
And
yeah.
18 feet deep.
Deep.
And it looks like to be a fair amount of space in between the shed and the structure itself. So first off, do you know the distance between the shed, there's a compass direction. So the corner of the shed to Louise Way, what's the distance? I don't guess at it. Matt, Adam, do you know that?
no.
And you don't know the distance between the shed and the house?
That's about, and I believe I did send dimensions in the email to Amber, I believe, but I think it's, what was it? Is it 6 feet, I believe, from the house to the shed? I don't know, does that sound?
Matt, I keep calling you Matt, sorry. Adam, how close can a shed be to the house without causing another problem with variances?
With variances, it's gonna cause a problem, I think, no matter what. For code reasons, it needs to be 2 feet, so minimum.
Okay.
But if it's, you know, let's say it was at 2 feet, the corner of the house is 36.9 feet to the right of way. The shed's 11 feet wide, that would be 13 feet. So it would be, we're talking about a setback reduction here as well, which is what I put in my comments. I was looking for that information.
Right.
This lot towards Settlers is enough so it doesn't look crowded.
That's a two-bay garage?
Two-car garage.
I'm looking, as I'm going through the criteria, one of the things we look at is going to change the character of the neighborhood. And the way that the code is written, and it makes some sense, that if you have a side yard and you have room to put it, or usually sheds are in the backyard area, and even to Leah's point, they're fenced in or they're buffered with vegetation and whatnot. But your yard that borders Louise Way is a bit in no man's land. It's out there. So putting a shed there arguably is going to change the character of the neighborhood. It's just not the shed itself, it's where it's located. And I understand the problem that it being in the backyard, that it slopes, and what are you going to do? And you'd have to build it up or do something to put the shed back there. And it's a bit of a head scratcher to me is, why can't you, whatever it is in that shed, why can't you get it in that two-bay garage? I know it's a rhetorical question, you don't have to answer that.
Yeah, I mean,
You said you've talked to your neighbors?
because they all received the, the little postcards, so they were all, saying that, we have no problem with that being there, it doesn't affect anything. I mean, they were asking if they should, submit something. I mean, if that's, it would help, I could ask them to. I mean, I don't know.
I'd be curious about it.
Sure.
If they, the neighborhood, especially in closer proximity to
Yes. Yes.
where this shed is currently, and how they perceive it.
I can certainly do that.
What does the board feel about that, about at least getting a better feel in writing what the neighborhoods, especially the neighbors right around her, have to say? Matt, is that gonna make a difference for you or not?
It may, I guess I'd be open to it. The tough part here is, right, the shed's there. It's an entity, and so we're kind of here trying to deal with it versus,
Yeah.
if you were able to come in front of us before you put the shed there to just kind of walk through it
Yeah.
and work it out a little bit, right? And it's one of these where it's unfortunately, I don't know how to better say it, it kind of gets plopped down in front of us, and now it's our problem, right? And
Yeah, I understand. And trust me, I would
no,
not
and I'm
put
not.
anybody in that position. I mean, we just didn't give it a thought even, so.
And I get it, that's the unique part. I mean, obviously, is there opportunity to bump the garage out and really extend the home to that? You've seen, sometimes you see like a 3-car garage where the third bay is literally over the grass because it includes like the lawnmower equipment and snow blowing equipment. But it's part of the home, right? It's just a third bay
Yes.
garage door. Have you thought of that or looked into that?
We wanted originally when we were building the house to do it, but it was just too extra cost, and it was significant amount of money, so we didn't do it.
I'm also assuming, because again, you said snow blower equipment, in the middle of winter, you're not gonna wanna be in the backyard anyways, trying to get the snow blower from the backyard up the hill into the driveway. I'm with Mike in that, geez, there's gotta be a way you can fit all that in the garage. I have a 2-bay garage door, and we fit all sorts of stuff in it as well, the area in front of, between the car and the wall forward of it. I understand laterally, right, there usually isn't much, there's enough width to open a car door and get yourself out without dinging it. And most of them, if it's anything like mine. But it just feels like, you know, maybe there's a way you can make it work with the garage that you have. It might, you know, you might have to do some house cleaning to see what's in there, but it's just, the character of the neighborhood piece is tough with me. I didn't really see anything that's, you know, certainly forward of the front line of the homes, you know, around there. So it's a tough one. I'm really torn, you know, partially again because it's already existing, and it is relatively significant. It's a you know, like you said, 10 by 18, you know, size structure. Tough one for me, to be honest with you.
Alexis?
Yeah, it's a tough one for me too. The whole, the character of the neighborhood, it doesn't really match the house at all. Maybe if it was a little further back towards the backyard with like a fence around it, that would be, you know, it's blocking it somewhat, but you've got an accessory unit that really changes. I mean, you look at the front of the house and now the whole completely different. So maybe if there was something like we tabled it to the next meeting, something from your neighbors in writing. It's a little hard too because we got a complaint, but it's anonymous, which is, you know, a little hard for us. Is it from one of your neighborhoods kind of thing, or someone just driving through? But if you had some sort of support from neighbors around. Well,
What if it was, look at Adam, what if it was just at some point it was just a fenced-in area, you know, with a fenced door on it that it went up to the house? Obviously, it wouldn't have a roof on it. You'd have to, you know, inside there, you
Fence
might
would
have,
require a variance because it's forward to the front line.
because it'd still be forward to the front line. Okay. Be a little easier to, I don't know. Again, if it weren't there, it'd probably be, to me, it'd probably be an easier sell to say it would be, you know, it'd match the house better. It'd be a little more in character of the neighborhood, that kind of thing, if it was, you know, a fenced-in area. And then you've got the uniqueness of the two front setbacks. I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there. I know, like I said, it exists, so you've expended the cost, and everything I say just adds cost, but.
Leah?
I think the solution would be to put a fence around it that would then match the house.
Can't.
And like,
Can't.
like
It
you
still needs a
can't.
variance.
It's still a variance.
it'd be easier to grant the variance.
I was thinking the fence in lieu of the shed, not, you're saying fence.
Oh, you mean like?
I'm saying if you just didn't have the shed and it was a fenced-in,
Yeah,
you know,
fenced in
10 by
enclosure,
18 area
yeah.
that had a, you know, a fence gate on it, you
Yeah.
couldn't, you know, vinyl fence, you couldn't see through, but
Oh.
behind it is the snow blower and all that, like probably with a tarp over it to keep it out of the elements, but.
Okay, I mean, I was,
And again, I don't want to engineer it, I'm just,
Yeah.
yeah.
if I was here and the shed wasn't there already, that'd be one suggestion I would have to at least help with the, you know, does it fit within the character of the neighborhood?
Because even though, you know, it's a nice-looking shed, but it doesn't really match the neighborhood. And like what was said before, it's, you know, it changes the character of the neighborhood. So, and that's why I brought up a fence, something enclosed, because you see that a lot with houses, whether they're enclosing a pool or some other part. So it's really a tough one, because I understand you need the extra space and, you know, but like Matt said, you know, maybe go through your garage again. And I remember where I used to live, people had all these boxes up against the wall of the garage. I don't, to me, it looked like a car barely fit in. So it's just a tough one.
I don't think a fence is really, it's a completely different rabbit hole. And if you look at the Louise side of your home, and as you continue down Louise Way, the side of your house is close to where the frontage is for the rest of those homes. You put a fence around there, now you cause an obstruction for those people on Louise Way. And I think that's one of the reasons why the code is written the way that it is on that corner lot, is not to create more obstructions for safety. It is the community safety. Looking at the criteria, the first one is an undesirable change going to be created in the neighborhood. I'd be hard pressed to say it wouldn't be. It's a corner lot, it's going to be out there. Can you achieve it some other way? Well, I think we're talking about, you mentioned before, probably not. You can't really put it in the backyard and comply with the code. The third, is the area variance substantial? It is. You are on the side yard. Is it going to create any kind of environmental conditions or impact? Probably not. Self-created, you put it there. So can you kind of see how it's a bit of a, it's a close call here on what is it really going to look like? And I think Alexa's point is well taken, is somebody or a group of people push we don't like that shed there, and talk to the town, and Adam had to go out there and say, oh, that's right, that's not supposed to be there. So I would be interested in seeing,
Yeah.
are there neighbors that, yeah, we're okay with it? Doesn't mean that you're going to get it,
Sure.
but it would help us maybe understand a little better.
Yeah.
And give us a little more time to ruminate a bit about what to do with it. Fred, you okay with that? About
How long has the shed been there?
October of last year, right before winter started, we put it.
So not quite a year?
October, not quite a year, no. I just have a question for you, Leah. When you say it doesn't match the character of the neighborhood, now what exactly are you referring to?
Because it's not the same color of the house. You know, it has a dark,
Well, I mean,
You know-
I've seen sheds in other neighbors, and then they're different colors. I mean, I see navy color, I see all kinds of colors of sheds, and I mean, it doesn't match the house, but, I mean, nobody seems to have any problem with their, you know?
I think as much as it's hard to, again, grasp what that code is describing, technically that's the front yard. There are no sheds in the front yards in that whole neighborhood. So it will change the character of the neighborhood if sheds are permitted in the front yard as the code defines it. It's not necessarily the color itself, it's where it's located.
Okay, yes.
It's the
okay,
bigger impact.
Yeah. Our luck is we have this lot, so,
I understand
the
it.
big slope and everything else
Right,
going on.
right.
And I
Okay.
think maybe because it's on the side, right directly on the side, almost like it's connected to the front of the house. Because I don't want to say it doesn't match, but because it doesn't match, it does kind of, it's almost like it's being placed to look like it flows with the house as kind of one almost building, but because of the difference in appearance, it doesn't.
It's going to give us another opportunity. I'm going to drive through the neighborhood again, take a closer look at it, now that we have a better idea of what your application's about, and we've heard from the board, and I encourage everybody else, drive by again, take another look at it. In the meantime, if you're okay with it, do a little bit of homework, see if you can find out from your neighbors if they're supporting this
Oh,
or
no,
not.
absolutely, yep.
And we would see you on the 19th. You okay with that, or?
June 19th?
Yes. Are you available for that, or that you
Sure.
can do it the next
Is it-
meeting?
Is it the same time,
Yes.
7? Yes.
Yeah. I can't tell you what order you're going to be in. I'm almost assuring you're not the only one, because I know there's a few others, so
Okay,
it's probably going to be a heavy agenda.
sure,
Okay?
okay, sounds good. Well,
Okay,
thank you.
I'm going to ask it
Thank you for
anyway.
your time.
Anybody want to speak for or against the application? No, okay.
Thank you for your time.
Very good. You have a good night. Self-serve pet wash. Thanks for your patience.
No problem.
And you are?
I'm Mark Palumbo from Self
hello,
Serve Pet
Mark.
Wash. Sorry, I wasn't sure if you were ready or not.
I'm
And
ready, I'm ready.
I opened up this business back in January. I have another location in Greece, and it was a sort of like a retirement thing for me that I started for the future, for extra income. And so the signage was sort of expensive. The one I put in Greece cost me almost $3,000, and I have the same white lettered sign in Greece. It was only $300 off of Amazon. It doesn't flash, it doesn't blink, it's not a wet, crazy colors or anything like that. So I thought it would be okay to put in the windows of the pet wash so I could get the business up and running before I spent a lot of money on a signage for the front, up top, above the doorway.
Are you saying this is the window light is temporary?
No, that's what the words pet wash, I was looking to keep there as a permanent sign.
But are you like waiting to almost make more money, more profit? And
Yes,
then
if,
sign off the
as
building?
business picks up, it's been quiet. I thought it would be like a lot busier being next to the Victor Vet, and it's been quiet. The washes, there's 2 wash bays in there. It's only $17 a wash.
Okay.
So it's not like I'm generating a ton of income, or there's other sources of income generating out of that space. It's 300 square feet, so there's not room to put retail in there, and it's been quiet. So I was just hoping to try to increase revenue, and before I spent, anywhere between $1,500 to $3,000 on a sign for the front.
I can't imagine it would cost that much, though.
3x3 is $1,500 installed, a backlit LED sign. The words pet wash that I did in Greece cost me almost $3,000 installed.
But here, how much linear footage do you have? How big of a sign can you have above?
It's only 10 feet across. It's not, actually, the inside of the building is 10 feet across.
Yeah, right, so you're allowed a 2x5? You're allowed a 2x5 sign?
Right. So I
10
was,
square feet, however you
Square
want to
feet.
slice.
so I was pricing out a 3x3 because it's sort of a standard, like 3x3, 4x4 square, which is the cheapest I could find. And having it installed was close to
You
$1,500.
have to have it lit up?
It would make sense at night. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but I mean, the plaza is very dark. There's not a lot of lightage in there.
So it's
And
open at night?
I keep it open 24 hours a day, yes.
Okay.
And the sign I have now, you can barely see it during the day. The sunlight really flushes it, drowns it out anyways, and then at nighttime, it just stays bright white. That's it.
In between the Monroe muffler shop and Sherwin-Williams store.
Yes, sir.
It's a one-window operation.
Yes. It's just a 300, it's not even 300 square feet inside.
I saw 10 feet somewhere.
Yeah, yes. It's 10 feet by about 25, 26 inside, usable square footage. I've been doing a lot of social media, so it's been picking up a little bit, and I did a fundraiser this weekend for the Verona Street Animal Shelter. That's helped increase a little bit this weekend. So I'm trying to get the word out there, to increase business, obviously. I was very surprised. I thought I'd get a lot more traffic from the veterinarian office.
I bet there aren't very many people that know it's there yet.
There aren't.
It's a busy front.
It is, but I think a lot of the problem is that the plaza doesn't have a road sign. So you're coming into that area just after the merge from 490 anyways, and people are cooking along 50, 55 miles an hour and traffic's blending, so you're really not looking to your right, and there's no street sign to help that out with what businesses are located in that plaza. So it's sort of tough. It's a tough location, and it sits down and back. And at nighttime, it's dark.
So why'd you pick that spot?
A friend of mine owns the plaza. He's the vice president at DeMarco. So he gave me a deal on the spot and helped me out. And to be honest with you, it was right next to the Victor Vet. It seemed like a no-brainer of a location to put it.
Yeah.
I can say I've gotten your Facebook ads myself. I actually take all of my animals to Victor Vet Care, and I get my hair cut at Brooks and Harlow in that plaza. And the only reason that I go to those two is because I pass them every single day on my way to work, 96 towards the thruway.
Okay,
But I can't see your sign because it's in the window. So I see exactly where you're going with the sign in the window. Wanting to wait to spend that money on it. As for like advertising purpose, I would say I probably would have seen it before I got the Facebook ad, do you see what I'm saying?
yes.
Just because it's on the building. And I don't know if it's cheaper to get it not lit up. I know, you want people to see it at night. I don't think 96 almost isn't that busy at night. In the winter, obviously, though, it gets darker earlier.
True. Could I have both? A non-lit sign on the front of the building, which would obviously be a lot cheaper, and keep the lit pet wash?
You can keep the lid open. The code will allow you, I think, the lit open
Open
sign.
So the pet wash sign in the window would require a variance no matter what.
Correct.
You're permitted to have a sign on the building, so you don't
Okay.
need a variance for that, whether it's lit or not.
Okay,
You're allowed 10 square feet of a sign.
okay,
It doesn't necessarily have to be, I don't know what the plaza rules are, but it wouldn't have to be backlit sign. If it was, an unlit sign and you then had downward lighting on it, that may be a less expensive avenue. But I don't know.
okay,
As opposed to, you get what I'm saying, instead of a backlit sign, have it front lit,
okay,
with a light essentially, maybe cost-wise,
all right.
that would be. But that would just require a permit. There's no variance required for that.
Okay, I understand.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Yeah, you answered most of my questions, but I have a comment.
Okay.
Without it having the larger sign, on the plaza next to Monroe Auto Parts, if I saw this with the pet wash in the window lit up, I would wonder if it's part of Monroe Auto Parts, where they just opened up a pet wash part of it. Because it doesn't, because it's a small, it's a small square footage, you have just a door and a small window. I think it would generate more business having a bigger sign.
Okay,
And then like Adam said, you're allowed to have that open sign illuminated, correct? Is that? And you could have that. Because I think everybody's missing it because you don't have the big sign. And I get it, you're waiting till you generate more business, I understand that. But I think you're gonna have more business with the larger sign.
okay,
That's
all right.
Alexis, other questions, comments?
Could you grant a temporary variance, or is that?
That's possible.
I'd be good with that.
Because I'm not adamantly opposed to having the sign in the window. It doesn't change the character of the neighborhood. It's just the words pet wash. It's not obnoxious.
I mean, we just went through this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
With the place right down the street,
But, yeah, that's
With-
what I'm saying.
with signage in the window. We've gone through this for years with everyone in that corridor in the draw for just wanting to put signage everywhere. I kind of look at it like the cost of doing business in that spot includes a 10 square foot sign that goes above it.
Can you give me 90 days?
If you
We
said,
can't give you anything right now because it's going to
Okay.
the county planning board. So
So that's at least
getting
2
some
weeks.
facts straight.
yeah, so in my opinion, if you told me in 90 days that sign would be gone and you'd have another one up there, I would be okay with it. I don't think I'd be okay with the variance. I'd probably look at code enforcement and say, can you have a 90-day stay from getting nasty letters? I don't know how that would, I don't know if we don't really do that.
The way, they're called
It's-
sunset provisions. You grant the variance for 90 days and
So we
it
could-
goes, it's gone. If that's how it would work.
So I would be, me personally, I would be okay with that. It wouldn't be permanent. It'd be, if it was truly temporary and it's not something that every 90 days you'd come up in front of us and say, I want another 90 days, I would be for that. and then you'd still have the open sign, that you could put in the window.
Okay.
That's just, I'm just one person up here. But
I
that's kind of
understand.
how
I mean, from the beginning, I've never looked to ruffle anyone's feathers.
Yeah, no,
You'd like to add
no
him as
feathers
soon as I found out there was an issue, I contacted him immediately. And, I've got no problem working with it, with the town. I'm not looking to ruffle any feathers, just a small business, just trying to make a few bucks.
Yeah, no, look, no feathers ruffled here. I'm just trying to, I also think ahead to the, not you as the applicant, to all of the other applicants.
I get it.
Past and future.
I get it. I understand completely.
In the same situation or very similar situation. Yeah, so that's kind of where I sit.
Are you done, Alexis?
Yeah, like Matt was saying, I mean, I'm not opposed to something temporary. It's also hard because we get a lot of people who come before us looking for signs and they're not allowed to have signs, so it's almost like you're allowed to have a sign, but you're looking for a different type of sign, whereas some people don't even have the privilege of getting one, kind of thing. So, but I wouldn't be opposed to a temporary.
Fred?
I think that sign on the building is covering is there some other way real well, and with a temporary 90-day sunset, give you a chance to see if you want to go any further with it.
I think I could have something up there within 90 days and get the words
That
pet
sounds
washed
like a
down.
real good answer to me.
Yeah, I got no problem with that.
Oh, here's my take on it. The way you described the problem is that the plaza sits down and it can't be seen. That pet wash window really can't be seen then. That's why those signs are higher up. The other point is, if you are open 24 hours, Monroe isn't, Sherwin-Williams isn't, all those lit signs are darkened. You'd be the only sign that says pet wash.
Actually, no, they're lit at night. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Okay, so
I know the Monroe is.
let's just go with that. But where I really wanted to hit is that sign, pet wash sign. We have pets. I don't know who would go in there at 2:30 in the morning. I can guarantee you, if my wife decided to say, I'm going to get the dogs, what? No, you're not. Right? It just looks like, I don't know. It doesn't look like it's a legitimate business with your neighbors being Monroe and Sherwin, but if you have that sign like all the others do, that says, I'm here, I'm open, I'm safe, right? The sign, or the photo that you have, it's dark. All those things that you've said that it can't be seen, you're not helping it, being that pet wash being so low and so small, especially if it's somebody's going 50 miles an hour, 55, they're not supposed to. They're not seeing that. Up and down the roads on 96, there's those temporary sandwich boards. Don't leave them out all day. But to say, hey, I'm here, I'm open, come on in. There are options there other than what you're proposing. And for right now, I'm not necessarily opposed to the temporary. What I am concerned about is if we do a temporary sunset provision, like Matt said, oh, can I have 90 more days, 90 more days? I'm not quite there, 90 more days, and then it just keeps going on infinitum.
I don't mean to interrupt you, I don't work that way.
Okay, all right, we got it down on the record. But what we're gonna need, though, is the county planning board referrals, the comments.
Okay.
So were you listening before?
Yes, it's next
about-
week, and then I come back on the 19th.
Right.
Yes.
So they're gonna give us comments. More than likely, county planning board is almost always more opinionated, wants to give their advisory opinion on signs. They're strong about that, as opposed to sheds and fences and some other things. So don't be surprised if they say no, denial. If they do rule on a denial, then if we were to decide to grant the variance, we would need 4, not just 3. All right, so majority plus 1. Okay?
Sure.
Questions, comments?
All good.
Anyone else, questions, comments? I'll say it anyway, just for the record. Anyone want to speak for or against the application? No? Susie? No one? Okay. And I think what we'd also like to see is how much would it cost to put what you are permitted to have on the facade? Is the name of your business Pet Wash?
Self-serve pet wash.
Okay, so what that would look like, how much it would be, I don't think it's a huge factor because there isn't an element of the cost of the signage or cost of doing business. That's something that you've taken on, you've decided to go down that road. We wish you the best, and
Sure.
it'd be worth, I think, a look at.
Okay, absolutely.
All right, any other information you have, we'll be certainly happy to take a look at it.
Okay, thank you.
All right?
Yes.
Good, you have a great night.
Thank you, too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Adam, anything for us?
Not today.
All righty, anyone else? No, we're good, we're good. All right, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thanks so much. Have a great night. Oh, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
For the pet wash, do you have to do you put like a card or anything in, or is it just open all the time?
They're like machines. Yeah, you go.
No, but
It's
you
like a
can walk
laundromat.
in.
Yeah.